Good morning and welcome to today's webinar on BRAVIA in retail. My name is Mark Stanborough and I'm the Business Development Manager for Digital Signage here at Sony Professional Displays and Solutions. Today we're going to run through the new BZ-P series. We're also going to discuss how the deep black non-glare elements are incorporated into the new screens, look at the viewing angles that we have on the new screens, also talk about the updated hardware, the updated user interface, and a little bit on sustainability as well. Any questions you've got throughout this webinar, please enter them in the chat and we'll come back to you on those ones. And of course, all of the webinar is being recorded and we'll be able to distribute it around afterwards. So we're going to look at the three screens that we've got in the new range. Firstly, starting with the core, which is the BZ-P series. We're then going to move up to the BZ-P, and finally the flagship model, which is the BZ-P. So looking at the new lineup, we're starting with the BZ-P, which is our entry-level screen in the BZ-P series. We do this in a variety of sizes: 43 inch, 50, 55, 65, 75 and 85 inch. With our BZ-P, what we're now doing is we're putting all of our screens with deep black non-glare technology and haze as well. So this is a first for us in the 43 and a 50 inch and in the entry level as well. The BZ-P is a 400 nit screen. It's also got the new XR processor as well, which is something previously we had the X1, we've now moved up to the XR in this range as well. The BZ-P has the new chassis design as well, which I'll come on to in a bit more detail in a few more slides. But one of the things with the chassis is it now uses 43% Sorplast, which is a special Sony recycled plastic. The new screens have an improved power consumption as well, so it's got a lower power consumption. It's got an improved EPRAL rating as well, and the new screens are Energy Star approved. Looking at the BZ-35 now, so it's a step up from the 30. We still do it in the same sizes, so everything from a 43 inch up to an 85 inch. It has the deep black non-glare standard, which has the 25% haze, which is the same as the BZ-P. The difference here is we have an uplift in the brightness, so it's now 500 nits. The other improvement is that the screen is an IP5X rated screen, so it's designed to be put into high footfall areas where there might be a lot of dust, and the chassis is designed to be protected from that. As with the 30p, the 35 has got a lower power consumption than the previous models, our 35L. And again, it's got an improved EPRAL ranking, and this particular model is Energy Star certified as well. So moving on to our flagship, the BZ-P, what we have here is a deep black non-glare premium. So this has got an extra layer of anti-reflective coating, and it has market-leading 47% haze on this particular model. There's a step up in the brightness as well, so we've now gone up to 700 nits in the brightness of this screen. As with the 35p, it also is IP5X rated, and with the other models as well, it has the same amount of Sorplast in the new chassis, lower power consumption, a better EPRAL ranking, and of course it has the Energy Star rating in there as well. One thing I forgot to mention is obviously the 35p and the 40p both have the XR processor as well, as does the 30p. Here we can see an overall lineup and where the new BZ-P range fits into the current lineup. We obviously still have our EZ-20 range for the entry level, and of course our premium BZ-53L, which is our 98 inch flagship model. This comes with our deep black non-glare premium and the 47% haze. So I want to look a little bit more at deep black non-glare and why it's important, especially in retail and when you're looking at viewing angles and anti-glare properties. So firstly, deep black non-glare standard. So this is on our BZ-30P and the BZ-35P, and it's on every size that we do in both of those ranges. So with this particular version of deep black non-glare, this comes with a 25% haze. This, combined with the XR processor that's on board, allows us to deliver the premium viewing. And as I mentioned, when you're in a retail environment, it's key to making sure that you've got the right colors and you've got the right quality so that brands and products show up as they're intended to. As you can see here, we're talking about the high haze coating that we have on the screens. Combine that with the XR processor and the AI scene recognition, that allows us to make sure that you're getting the best possible quality there on screen. The deep black non-glare standard that we have featured here combines high haze at 25%, glare reducing coating with advanced contrast processing powered by the XR image processor. It effectively suppresses reflections while delivering high contrast visual performance. Here we have our deep black non-glare premium, which is available on the BZ-40P model. This is a step up from the standard that we have. It uses 47% haze. We have the ultra high haze and low reflection coating. That, combined again with the XR processor and the AI scene recognition, gives you the ability to show your products, to show your brands and logos off as they should be seen. It enhances the contrast, making the image more vivid and lifelike. I'd now like to cover visibility and viewing angle, and of course why that's so important within a retail environment. With all of our BZ-P screens that we have, they now have the high haze and the deep black non-glare, which helps with viewing angle. What you can see here is a diagram of when you're looking at a screen, when you're looking at it off axis, and let's face it, when you're in a retail environment, nobody's always looking at a screen dead on. You might be walking past a shop window, you might be walking down an aisle, and you're looking at the screen off axis. Where Sony works very well is the fact that we keep the color and we keep the brightness, especially when you're looking at it from those angles. You can see here on the diagram, when you get to those tighter angles, a lot of the other screens out there on the market will start losing the color or the brightness, and this is really where we come into it. You can see a few examples here where the wider viewing angle helps with the color and the brightness, making sure that your content is displayed as it is intended. Within retail, we know that adverts, promotional content and branding is a huge financial expense. And with the greater viewing angle, you can make sure that your end users benefit from the engaging content whilst maintaining that brand consistency. We now have one-step modes for digital signage. So alongside our existing picture modes, the new BZ series has got two newly developed one-step setting modes for digital signage applications. We have standard signage mode, and this helps enhance the colors, texture and contrast. Whereas if you move to the dynamic signage mode, we get more vivid eye-popping colors that really stand out that extra. The newly designed chassis on the BZ-P series has been designed purely for commercial use, and this works great in retail environments because the new chassis has an even bezel all the way around. It also has the light bar and IR sensor integrated into that bezel. This means that you can either have the screens in landscape or portrait. They also have a flat bezel as well, so if you want to butt two screens up beside each other, you can do that without having gaps in between. All of the new screens, they share the same look and feel about them as well. So the 43 and 50 inch, you can see examples here. The 55 and 65 as well, again, share the same look and feel of the screens. It's also interesting to note that the new screens are much thinner than the previous L range as well, which is a big difference, especially when you're mounting them and you want to make sure they're as close to the wall as possible. So we're seeing this is something that's quite key, especially in retail environments. The 75 and 85 inch as well, again we're keeping with that uniform bezel all the way around. So looking at a bit more detail on the new hardware designs, all of the screens ranging from the 43 up to the 85 inch now have a centered Visa mount. As mentioned previously, the chassis is a lot slimmer. This is on the 43 to the 65 inch. We're now looking at 47mm on these new chassis. And you can see the difference in the design of the chassis when looking at it from one of the sides if you've got it in portrait mounted as well. Again, we're talking about the even and the narrow bezel with the IR sensor hidden in that. And on the 85 and 75 inch, we also have built-in carry handles. So when you're installing these, it's going to make life a lot easier with those heavier screens. Looking at the new user interface on the BZ-P series, we now have a redesigned, more simple to use user interface, which makes life a lot easier, especially when it comes to setting up of the screens as well. So if you're doing a large rollout across a number of retailers, it makes life so much easier when setting the screens up. One of the new key features of the BZ-P series is the ability to use the system on chip for running signage applications. Without the need for a set-top box in every situation and every installation that you're doing, this can add cost-saving benefits, it can add an extra layer of security, maintenance becomes a lot easier, it's also space-saving and energy-saving as well. With the BZ-P series, it now features a real-time clock, which is battery backed up as well. So it helps with whenever you're doing maintenance and installations on the new BZ-P series. One of the key features with the new BZ-P series is the enhanced system-on-chip facilities that we have. With the high-performance SoC, stable display is possible without external devices like set-top boxes. This significantly reduces the effort and cost for installation, operation, and maintenance. As you can see here, we're highlighting the 4 benefits of eliminating a set-top box: cost savings, higher security, easy maintenance, and space saving. It's also worth noting that the BZ-P series now has a real-time clock on board, which is battery backed up. The evolved Pro mode is easier and more convenient to set your screens up with one click. As we can see here, we have all the function restrictions for signage use, so when you're putting it into a retail environment, you want to make sure that it's locked down and it's secure and it's used correctly in that environment. We've done away with the Pro settings mode as well, so it's very easy to swap between the normal mode and the Pro mode, and then of course put it into the signage mode as well. So looking at how Sony's remote device management can be beneficial in a retail installation, firstly by looking at zero-touch provisioning. And effectively this can reduce your time on installations by allowing you to have all the settings pre-configured for that particular screen or your estate of screens. You set it all up beforehand. When it comes to installation, it's a very quick process and it can actually cut the installation time down to a few minutes per screen, which makes it effective, especially when you're rolling out a large number of screens across multiple estates as well. It's also worth noting that when using the RDM, Remote Device Manager, we've now got a series of sensors within the screen that can notify you how the screen is tilted and also the temperature of that particular screen. This obviously allows you to monitor the screens and helps with maintenance as well, especially when you're running large estates. Reliability is key to any installation as well, but more so within a retail environment, because it will often be in a shop window, in your store, and people will be looking at that. So obviously you want to make sure that that screen is operating as it should all of the time. High reliability is confirmed with the new BZ-P series. We've done multiple tests on these screens across all of the different ranges to make sure that we've got the long-term reliability that you would expect from the Sony brand, but also making sure that when this goes into place, it's showcasing all the products, all the information as it should do. And with the BZ-L series, we were offering a 5-year warranty. We're doing the same with the flagship BZ-P range as well. So we've talked a little bit about the chassis previously, and we're just highlighting some of the new features as well, especially the dust-proof performance, because it is IP5X rated, which means it's ideal for any high footfall areas. Also, the product has passed strict reliability tests as well, ensuring that we've got high reliability for long-term operations. Our solutions ecosystem is growing as well. We now have 74 different CMS partners. This is constantly growing as well. And a number of these are designed specifically for the retail market. You can see a selection of some of them here. But the key thing here is that we are growing this list. So we are working with multiple CMS partners, meaning that whatever installation this goes into, you know that Sony is going to be working with that particular partner, and we've got the ability to continually develop those relationships as well. So as they release new updates and we're releasing our updates as well, we're working with these companies to make sure that the operations that are happening within the stores, the retail environment, we're making sure that this works seamlessly and without any interruption during upgrades as well. If you'd like to see the full list of the partners that we have, please visit the website, which you can see at the bottom of this slide. Sustainability is a big part of what Sony does as well, and this is shown in the new BZ-P series. So looking at the new certifications that we have, each model, and all the models, sorry I should say, now have EPEAT and Energy Star rankings. We have a new Eco dashboard, which allows you to see the real-time power consumption of your screen, and it's also very easy to make changes as well. So if you want to reduce the power consumption, you can do that very quickly and simply from this new user interface. All of the screens we've got have got a reduced power consumption compared with our previous range, and of course alongside that they've now got improved EPRIL rankings as well. We're constantly evolving the packaging. So if you look back a couple of generations of screens ago, the packaging was a lot more complex. There was more writing on the boxes. What we have done now is we have reduced the packaging. We're using plant-based ink on the packaging as well to make it more sustainable. And overall, we're just trying to make the whole solution more sustainable. We're now using more Sorplas in our screens. The BZ-P series uses up to 43% Sorplas. So again, we're looking at making the screens more sustainable. And Sony now has a certified green partners program as well. And we're making sure that the suppliers we use adhere to that particular program. So I mentioned about the lower power consumption against the previous version, and you can see here we've actually got some figures. Looking at the BZ-40L, the 55-inch, compared with the BZ-P, again 55-inch, we're looking at a 26% reduction in energy usage just on that one particular model. What this can mean in real terms, looking at real-time data, current energy prices, based on 50 displays, that could be a saving of upwards of 11,000 euros. Total energy savings, you'd be looking at 43 megawatt hours, which is equivalent to one household's use of power over 5 years. Looking at CO2 savings, there could be 19 tons of CO2 savings just by switching from the 40L to the 40P model. Okay, so a quick summary of what I've gone through this morning. Firstly, the comprehensive lineup. We've got everything. The new series is from a 43 to an 85. We have our existing 32 and 98 inch screens as well. So we now have everything from a 32 right up to a 98 inch. Screen brightness, 350 up to 780 nits. It's 400 up to 700 on the new P series. And of course, everything that we offer now has haze, whether that's 25% or 47%. Picture quality, key. You're looking at using this in a retail environment, making sure products and logos are looking exactly as they should. We're covering that with our deep black non-glare, the XR processing, the viewing angle, and of course the color accuracy there as well. Sustainability, low power consumption. Again, we're moving forward with this on the new range. It's lower power consumption than the previous range and a lot of the competition out there. And the new screens are using much more of the Sony recycled plastic Sorplas in them. When looking at usability, we have our powerful system on chip to run any of the CMS, the signage partners that we have. The new design means it looks better when you're hanging it on the walls. It's thinner and it hangs closer to the walls as well. And of course, we've got multiple new partnerships that are coming on board as well, both in the CMS and in the remote management platforms as well. And finally, but of course not least, is reliability. Again, Sony has been committed to this over the years. We've got our pre and our post-sales support, but we've also got, of course, the longevity of the screens as well. Well, that covers everything from me today. Thank you for joining the webinar. As mentioned before, we've got the Q&A box, so please put your questions in there and I'll try and answer those as quickly as possible for you. We have our BRAVIA Knowledge Centre. You can scan the QR code and go to that link there. We've also got our website, which is pro.sony. I hope you've enjoyed today. Thank you very much for watching.